Welcome, everyone, to another episode of First Impression Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jasmine Pollock, and tonight we have a great show because we're going to get into the Baltimore Ravens destroying the 49ers in Santa Clara. What do the Steelers have to do to get into the playoffs? And a little bit about Russell Wilson and the college football playoff preview. But before we get into all the topics, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to First Impression Sports Talk. So we have my favorite friend, my sports friend here, Cole, and we're going to get into those Ravens. So, Cole, let's start off. All right, this was probably the Super Bowl preview that everyone was talking about. Both teams number one seed in their conference, 49ers number one seed, Baltimore number one seed in the AFC. Cole, I was expecting a good game, and then what happened? What happened? We got 33-19 in Santa Clara against a 49ers team that everyone thought was the best team in the league. Still a good team, but Baltimore embarrassed them.
I can tell you what happened. The 49ers offensive line got really banged up, and Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. So I think those are probably one of the two biggest things about this game. And I watched the full game, but I mean, just not a good showing by the 49ers. Obviously, they're banged up. If they want any chance of going to the Super Bowl, they have to get that O-line healthy.
Yes.
Baltimore was phenomenal. They had a good pass rush. Lamar played well again. I mean, Lamar has probably, I would say he's the front runner for to go and win an MVP. I mean, you can put Tua in there. You know, you can put some of these other quarterbacks. I don't know if Purdy is even in there too, even though he threw 4 interceptions. Like, he's still in that mix. But you just can't turn the ball over
four times,
especially against that Ravens team, because they're going to make you pay.
Yes.
I mean, once again, Christian McCaffrey was good. He had think over 100 yards rushing again.
Yes, he did.
So it's just, it'll be so interesting to see. I mean, I really expected a good game. I thought it was going to kind of be a shootout. You have two very good offenses. But unfortunately, too, I think the biggest problem for the 49ers right now is you got to get healthy, because that O-line is really banged
up. They were down their last right tackle, I believe. And like you said, you can't expect a team to go, especially where the vision that the 49ers have is that Super Bowl. They want to get to that Super Bowl. They want to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, all the teams want to do that. But if they can't do that, you have to protect Purdy. You just have to do that. But again, Purdy throwing 4 picks. My biggest shock was, okay, the 49ers were 5-point favorites. You're at home. You're arguably the best team in the league, not just in the NFC, but in the league. And that happened. Kittle had a great showing in the beginning of the game. Defensively, the 49ers, this whole year, everyone was telling me about the 49ers defense. They can be had. I mean, Lamar was really pretty much having his way and, making passes that need to be made. Of course, his legs are a factor for any team. It's hard to defend that because of the legs. But for them to run the ball the way they did, for them to, march down the field, and it wasn't like them just throwing deep passes. Lamar didn't have like a game where it's like, oh, he's just throwing deep down the field. No, it was methodical slants, post, quick plays, things like that were methodical and really broke the game down. And the 49ers defense didn't get the pressure that they needed to on Lamar to contain him and even have a spy on him to make sure. And I can't say enough, even with that play when it was like 3rd and long and he ran for that, it was just that right there. And this is why I feel like this year is a different Lamar Jackson, because this year, of course, he's improved at his passing game, but now he's running the ball at a rate like, okay, we are assuming that he's going to run, but he's passing the ball. But when they need him to run, he takes off, and then that's where it kind of breaks the game open. And he had that type of game against San Francisco. But when we look at San Francisco, Cole, of course, you said about the offensive line has to get healthy. Purdy has to not turn the ball over. I've seen this year when they had their three-game losing streak, and I saw Purdy kind of come back to earth a little bit. We were raving about Purdy, or Purdy being this, being that. I can't forget that the 49ers did have a 3-game losing streak not too long ago. I can't forget that we saw them against the Bengals, against the Browns. We saw them in those games. You're just like, I don't know. Every team, if you notice, every team, when we look at the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys, every top team that we've seen all year has been blown out except for Baltimore. And I look at that as a big thing because we seen Miami get blown out. We seen Buffalo get blown out. We saw Kansas City. We saw the 49ers with the Ravens. We saw the Cowboys and the Eagles all got blown out except for the Ravens. So when I look at it, if Lamar and them continue to play like this, he continues to make his reads, continue to be healthy, who is going to stop them in the playoffs? I know people say, oh, the Bills. I still got to see more from Josh Allen. I still got to see more. I have to see him in those moments when the pressure is on, and that's the biggest question to me. Chiefs are out of it. I don't see the Chiefs. I know they're still going to be in the playoffs, but the Chiefs, I don't see the Chiefs at all. But Cole, for you, now we're going to piggyback off to another AFC North team, your Pittsburgh Steelers, Jay's Pittsburgh Steelers. So Cole, for your Pittsburgh Steelers, what does it take for them to make a playoff run, to get to that next level and really run the table? What is it going to take for the Steelers to do that towards the end of the season?
I don't think the Steelers can win a playoff game because they're just not very good. They might make the playoffs. I can't believe I'm saying that after they just lost to the Cardinals and the Patriots, both horrible losses. But Mason Rudolph starting is obviously very smart. Played a great game on Saturday. I really thought he was confident in the pocket. He was good when he got some pressure too. And he could throw that deep ball. He has the best deep ball out of all three quarterbacks on their roster.
I agree,
easily.
100%.
I like his deep ball. Mason Rudolph is not going to be a star quarterback in this league, but played a very good game. And it's obviously the right decision. If they weren't playing Mason Rudolph against Seattle, I don't know what we're doing at all. I mean, what are we doing? We're really going to go with Kenny Pickett? Yeah, how many touchdown passes has he thrown this year? Like 6.
6, yeah.
6. That's horrible. So the Steelers can't make a run to me. They're so beat up at linebacker. Minka's out. It's just not a good situation. Yeah, and I honestly feel too that like even if they do miss the playoffs, they're not getting that top pick. The pick they're going to get is middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So they're going to get a mediocre pick. Like all the teams that go and rebuild successfully get those top picks.
Absolutely.
They get that first overall draft choice. You know, they're in like the top 5 or 6, and they're able to rebuild quickly when they get the right players. But I just do not feel the Steelers can make a run. I don't even think they can make a playoff game. I think if they play Miami in the first round, I think they'll get smacked. I think they'll get run out of the building.
And when it comes to the Steelers, there's too much talent that has, come in and out of that organization. Even right now, this past decade alone, past few years. And I don't feel like, and again, you mentioned this before on previous shows of them not drafting well, not being able to make those right picks to, have long-lasting effect on the team 2, 3 years, 4 years, down the line. I watched Najee Harris this year, and from what he was in college is not resonating in pro. It's not. And I get the O-line hasn't been the best. It hasn't been, but he's not that back that can has good vision, that is able to, okay, I see a lane, I'm going. You know what I mean? And even with the 49ers, again, having a banged up O-line, Christian McCaffrey still got you 100 yards, still scoring and, getting in between the tackles, still doing things at a high level as a running back. And, he's lethal all over the field. But when it comes to Steelers, Cole, like heading into this draft, what is your expectation? I know there's, the reports are that Mike Tomlin's coming back. They're trying to give him an extension. What is the vision right now for you as a fan of where the Steelers are headed the next 3 or 4 years?
I think they're going to stay in the lane of mediocrity. I don't really see anything changing. I mean, the Steelers will not change their ways. I knew they weren't going to fire Tomlin. I think Tomlin should be gone. I mean, where are the results? Where are the results? Where are the playoff wins? Okay, but he never had a losing season. Just stop with that argument. Stop with that argument. Finishing 9-8 is mediocre. Okay, and the Steelers have finished off 9-8 a long time for the past 5 years.
Yes,
Like pretty almost
exactly.
every year they finished off 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are the playoff wins? If Tomlin finishes off 9-8 this year, like what are we gonna do? We're gonna go and post it on social media. Tomlin finished off, never had a losing season. Like, stop with that argument. The argument is getting so old. Where are
For the
the
results.
results?
Yep.
It's and of course the media too, they'll give Tomlin all the credit in the world that he finished off 9-8. Let me just say this. If they finish off 9-8, there is another December collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Again. And it happens almost every year. And it's so ridiculous.
Right.
All the coverage of him, and he isn't that great of a coach. He's mediocre at best. The Steelers are a team of mediocrity. They're not going to change their ways. But one thing that the Rooneys need to say is, Tomlin, you are no longer making other coaching hires. We're going to leave that to the GM.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it to the
Mm-hmm.
owners, because everyone on the offense needs to go. All the offensive coaches got to go.
Yes.
They need to, if they're not going to get rid of Tomlin, they got to clean house on the offense.
Clean house.
All
Absolutely.
the offense, all of those coaches got to go. And they need to bring in somebody, an offensive coordinator with no ties to Pittsburgh. I
No
want
ties.
someone outside of the organization. Originally, before I said I'd be okay with Leftwich, I'm not okay with it anymore. I don't want Leftwich.
Mm-hmm.
Leftwich was a backup quarterback here. He has ties to the organization. That would be the most Steeler hire ever.
Yeah.
So bring in somebody that has a new vision for how football can be run.
Yes.
Because if you look at some of these teams that are winning, a.k.a. Miami, a.k.a. the 49ers, they have a new vision for how football is
New
ran.
vision. Absolutely.
Play calling, much better than the Steelers. Every team makes mistakes with play calling.
Yeah.
But Miami and San Francisco, they run this new style offense. It's creative.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful offense. It's
and
ridiculous.
It's fun to watch. The
Yeah.
Steelers offense is like from like 1970. There is no creativity at all. So but I don't, the Steelers aren't going to change their ways. I don't see it happening. I'd be shocked if it happens.
I'm afraid I have to agree. And even though I love Mike Tomlin and what he was able to do, especially as a black head coach in this league, and I know it's tough for black coaches to get this opportunity, is just there doesn't seem like there's excitement. There hasn't been excitement in Pittsburgh. Like when Mike McDaniel got hired in Miami, there was excitement. There was like, okay, offensive coordinator for the 49ers. Imagine that offense with Tyreek Hill and all those speedsters in Miami, and look at how it's paying off in year 2. They go to Baltimore to potentially, they're fighting for that number 1 seed. Is going to be between out of Baltimore and Miami for the number 1 seed to me. And the Steelers aren't making those types of hires or taking those risks like that. Like, we're going to go get that guy. Like Eric Bieniemy was available at a time. Why didn't the Steelers go grab that? Grab him. Like, let's go get somebody, like, get a whole new type of offense, a whole new field, and make it more exciting. It's like you said, it seems like a very old style, very slow developing offense that is not doing anything. It's stagnant. Again, Kenny Pickett threw 6 touchdown passes this year. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy, especially an NFL quarterback all season, 6 touchdowns. No, we can't have that. So again, we don't want to see Mike Tomlin get fired. Nobody wants to see, a coach get fired who's been here for a long time, one of those coaches that have been around for a long time. But if you're not going to make a move, again, Cole, I agree with you 100%. Go, y'all. You're not making the hires. Is going to be the front office. We're going to go outside and we're going to bring people in that have the pedigree, that have the experience, not tied to the organization. Show me what you can do with this offense, with these pieces. And I also think it's a personnel issue. Like, again, we talked about the draft picks. As of late, the Steelers have not drafted well. They haven't put pieces into place that are good. There's good players, but they're not playing at their full potential. We're not seeing the coaches uplift or the development of the players growing, especially Kenny Pickett. We're not seeing the growth. We're not seeing the improvement. And not to mention, they play Seattle, then they play Baltimore. So if the Steelers have any hope or any chance or any faith, you have to win out and hope somebody loses. That's a big thing. Like, let's say the Steelers do win out. Okay, quote unquote, another winning season, but then somebody could win and you're out. Oh yeah, but Tomlin, no. And I get that. I get that 100%, Cole. Like, yeah, winning season, but we're at home. We're watching the Super Bowl. We are
Right.
watching the divisional round. We're not in it. We're not competing. So when I look at the Steelers, I think the Steelers have to get back to the drawing board and really analyze their players, the play calling, and just clean house. Clean house. I think some players need to go. Some players need to go because there's some players that are very cocky that I've seen, players that aren't putting in the effort, that are pouting because they don't get the ball. They're pouting because, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. We're pouting, we're calling out. No, we're not doing that. And that is a culture thing that comes from that's all stemmed down from the head coach. You have to implement a strategy, a culture that, listen, we are not doing that. That's why Bill Belichick is regarded the way he is. That's why Mike Shanahan, they were regarded a certain way. Kyle Shanahan regarded a certain way. All these different coaches that have winning culture, they're regarded a certain way because these guys come in to play their game and they compete at the high level. Just hope the best man wins, the best team win. So for the Steelers, I just think, again, the future does not look bright. It's not like, man, the Steelers next year. No, it doesn't look like that for the Steelers. But Cole, hopefully, I want the Steelers to win. I hope they're able to, quote unquote, run the table, but there's a lot that has to happen. But before we head to the next segment, please make sure to subscribe to First Impression Sports so you can catch weekly content every week on the YouTube channel. You can have Cole. We're going to have a lot of different people coming up, especially heading into the new year. Really excited for it. And then, of course, the draft show is coming, Cole. We're really excited about that. And I hope everyone tunes in. Now, Russell Wilson, the big news of the day, Russell Wilson will be benched according to a lot of the reports that came out. And even, Sean Payton, we're moving on. We're not. That indicates that they're moving on. That's the biggest indication to me, Cole. But that's not the report I want to talk about. I got another report of them saying they came to Russell Wilson 2 days after they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead a couple weeks ago, and they wanted Russell Wilson to restructure his contract, and if he didn't, he will be benched or inactive for the rest of the season. So, Cole, let's look at the Broncos. Let's look at what happened with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. What is your take on this? I know it's still fresh and it's still very new. It's a very new story. What is your firsthand account or firsthand opinion about what these reports are?
It's so fresh. We don't have all the information. I could go and I could say something. It could be totally inaccurate as to what actually happened. I feel that you have to let the evidence come out and then make a determination. We don't have all the evidence. This report may not be entirely accurate. There may be some inaccurate parts of this report.
Right.
I get, obviously, the Broncos have not won at all since they've won the Super Bowl. I don't think they've been to the playoffs. But if they are going to Russell Wilson and they're just saying, like, just threatening him, star quarterback, saying, hey, if you don't if you don't if you don't adjust your contract or restructure it, we're just going to bench you. Like, I still don't know the reasons, all of the reasons as to why.
Right.
Are they trying to make sure he doesn't get hurt so that it doesn't really screw him over with the cap. I don't really know. I don't have all the information at my disposal.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the best thing to do is I'm going to let the information all come out. We will obviously find more in the upcoming days
Yes.
and then see what happens and then make a determination from there. I think that is
Agreed.
the most fair way to go about this because I don't need to be the first to every story. I
Yes.
don't need to be the first of to immediately rush to
Rush
judgment.
the news. Yeah.
If we make a rush to judgment right now, it's not a good thing. How
Right.
many times do people make a rush to judgment and somebody could be totally innocent?
Because the news is hot. Like, oh, we got to get it out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah.
So I don't I don't know really. Like I'm going to just sit here, let the information come out, and I'll make a determination later because it's not. I don't think it's fair to make that determination right now.
And to piggyback off of that too, when we talk about journalism and me as being a sports journalist, you in journalism, and this is journalism period, not just in sports, but we have gotten to a new era now where everyone wants to be first. I want to get, no matter if it's true, no matter if you don't have, just get it out. We need it. And then people are misinformed. People then have questions later, like, oh, I just read a report that said this, but this person said this. We have to learn to just allow the information to marinate. This is very fresh. I mean, literally like an hour and a half ago. This is a very fresh thing. Now, if it is true, this is a big, big deal because to me, if the Broncos or Sean Payton or whoever came to Russell Wilson 2 days after you beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, after the Chiefs have been dominating this division for 5 years, and the Broncos were on a 5-game winning streak, and they go in Arrowhead and beat the defending champs on the road in Arrowhead, the loudest stadium in the country. And you go to Russell Wilson to make him restructure his contract after you guys are on a 5-game winning streak and he's played well enough to keep you in the game. I have a big problem with that. Now, I hope that's not the case. I hope there's something else that's out. And again, like you said, Cole, we need more information. Is there an injury that where we don't, the world doesn't know about yet? So when I look at this, I hope that that's what it is. But Russ getting benched, when it comes to the Denver Broncos, it's not all Russ. He's not the same
No,
Russell Wilson as in Seattle, but it's not all Russ. There's a lot wrong with this team. There's a lot going on with this team. Offensively, they're not healthy. Defensively, they're not, the scheme is not there and the scheme is not in place properly. There's a lot going on with this team. There's a lot of issues that need to be had. And I get Sean Payton is a proven coach in this league. He's one of the best coaches to ever coach. But I just feel like there's an ego going on. There's a tug of war going on. There's a power of Sean Payton sending a message to this team about Russ. And, it's been, an up and down roller coaster for the past 2 years for the Denver Broncos. And I just hope this is figured out because I think Russell can still play. I still think he has gas left in this tank. But I just know this is a big deal. And we're going to see, like Cole, I agree with you. We're going to see what this is going to turn out because if that is the case, I'm going to be a lot more irritated later on because I don't respect that. But moving on to the final topic of the night is college football playoffs are coming up. Super excited. I know the bowl games are already starting to crank. Just now we had so much conversation about Florida State, so much conversation about, who should have been in, but that's gone now. Now we have Alabama, Michigan, Washington, Texas. So, Cole, we're going to start with Michigan and Alabama. Who do you have winning and why? And if you're saying it's a toss-up, what does each team have to do to win this game for their, to keep their playoff hopes alive?
both of these games, to me, I would kind of consider toss ups, but I'm going to go Michigan in this one. I
Okay.
think Michigan is the best team in college football. Their rushing attack is phenomenal. You have Donovan Edwards. You also have Blake Corum,
Mm-hmm.
both very great rushers. You have a good quarterback in JJ McCarthy, someone who has been in these situations
Yes.
before He's a veteran quarterback in college. So I have to go Michigan because I feel Milroe for Alabama. I mean, what is he, a freshman, sophomore? Like
Yes.
he hasn't played in this type of scenario that with these stakes in the college football playoff. Michigan's got a great defense too. They got the number 2 total defense.
Number 2 total. Yep.
I mean, they're just they to me just they have such a complete team. I think
Mm-hmm.
I said they're the best team in college football, but once again, too, Alabama could very well win this game. I mean, Alabama's got great players. Milroe
I mean,
is a great quarterback. Like everything he's shown me so far this season says eventually he's going to be playing on Sundays if he continues
and
this
he
line.
could potentially be a Heisman candidate
Right.
next year.
Oh, for
100%.
sure. For sure.
1000%. And so you pick Michigan. Now, I don't like either team, but I want Michigan to win because I'm sick of Alabama and just the Alabama talk, but I'm going to go with my gut. I think I agree with you. Michigan is the best overall team in the country. They're number 1 for a reason. They're here for a reason. But this Alabama team this year is scary to me because when they lost to Texas at home, there was this break. And then they go to USF, which is down the street for where I live, and they battle with the USF team. I mean, and we're thinking, man, this Alabama team we don't recognize. But then they started making improvements. I'm like, okay, they're making leaps and bounds. Then they make it to the SEC championship. They play the number 1 team in the country, Georgia Bulldogs, 2-time national champions, trying to protect their crown. Alabama came in there and beat the number 1 team in the country, and not just the number 1 team, the defending champs. And I said, this is what Nick Saban wanted all year. Just give us that moment to just put our foot in the door, and their foot is in the door. Now, I get Milroe's never been in this situation, but he has a coach that's been in this situation multiple times. For Michigan, like I said this in a pre-show, I feel like Michigan is going to make that one mistake where everyone thinks, oh, Michigan, they make that one mistake and Alabama blows the door open in the game. I have that fear. I expect a good game. I expect a very good, hard-fought, gritty game. I think it's going to be very physical. I do. I'll give the edge to Alabama just because who is coaching, just because of the team has been ascending, and this is what they wanted. Not to mention, 2 weeks ago, Alabama just hired Michigan's linebacker coach. So what does that tell you? He's going to tell this is what they like to do. So Alabama has the slight edge because you have somebody who's from the Michigan culture. I'm telling you, this is what when you see this is what they're going to do. When you see this is what they're going to do. So I want Michigan to win. I don't want Alabama to win, but I feel like Alabama is going to pull it off in some form or fashion and is going to aggravate me. But next to the other college football game, Texas and Washington. This game, Cole, I'm going to be honest, I can't call this one. Both these teams, I think this is going to be an exciting game, Texas versus Washington. Both these teams are just fun to watch. And honestly, I can't pick who. Cole, who are you picking? I mean, you might have a different opinion, but I can't pick this one. It's hard.
Toss up. It's going to be a
Yeah,
shootout.
I mean, I can't pick this one.
It's both these offenses are great. That's obvious. Quinn Ewers, good college quarterback. Michael Penix Jr., good college quarterback. Both have been seasoned, have started for a while. I can't give you an
I don't
answer
know.
at this current day because to me, it comes down to which quarterback outplays.
Yes.
Who outplays the other? Which quarterback makes that bad mistake?
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to come down to. The
That bad
quarterback that
mistake,
makes
yeah.
a bad mistake will lose this game because both these offenses high powered. I mean, you have
Either
CJ
that or
Jackson
who has
in
the ball
Texas.
last.
You have
That
Jonathan
too.
Brooks
Whoever
as
has the
well.
ball last, I
Right.
mean,
Jonathan Brooks as well. You have Xavier Worthy. Washington, you have Romo Dunze. Then you have Michael Penix.
Yes.
They are the 11th scoring offense. You also got Polk over there in Washington too.
Mm-hmm.
They this game is going to be phenomenal. This is the game I'm looking forward to the most. Both are
Yes.
going to be awesome. I can't wait for New Year's. But this Texas Washington game, just it's a toss up. I
It's
can't
a
give you
toss
an
up
answer because
because
I
I
just
think
don't know.
both teams are going to give their all. I think it's going to be a great college football game. And Cole, I think we can make the argument, being that this is the last year we're going to see the four, and they're going to extend the playoffs next year. I would say this is the most competitive college playoff that we've seen since the college football playoff came to existence. We've seen blowout games. I don't expect any blowouts. I really don't. I
I
expect
don't.
very
I don't
hard
either.
fought games. I think the Michigan game and Alabama's game is going to be low scoring, but then the Washington and Texas game is going to be high scoring. But it could be the total opposite because college you can't predict what's going on. But that's just my prediction. Michigan, Alabama is going to be low scoring. Washington, Texas, high scoring game, and whoever has the ball last, I think is going to win the game, or whichever quarterback turns the ball over first, or team the offenses turn the ball over first. But you have both these teams are seasoned. Both these teams have veterans on their teams. They've been there. They've seen these different things. They've played for a long time. So I'm really excited. Just who the best man win. I think is going to be very competitive. I'm really excited about it. But this is going to show now if Alabama gets blown out, let's say for hypotheticals, then Florida State is going to be like, well, we tried to tell you. But I don't think that's going to happen because I know Florida State, they're still, suing a lot of people. They're still angry about a lot of different things. But I'm really excited for this college football playoff this year. And even the bowl games. I'm looking forward to a lot of the bowl games. There's still a lot of conversations, Cole, about Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially maybe coming back to Ohio State. If I'm him, I'm going to the league. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to see Michigan again and beat them again and then try to get to that Big Ten championship and then get to the playoff. It's just too much going on. And I don't want the kid to, maybe risk getting injured and then his draft stock goes down. If I'm him, I'm heading into the NFL because I think he's going to be a star in the NFL. Whoever gets him, I mean, you're looking at a number one receiver on Sundays. But Cole, thank you again for being a part of the show, and we're really excited about what is to come next year because there's a lot of things going on. I don't want to say everything, but there's a lot of things going to happen this year. Now, Cole, if you have some last thoughts, this will be the last show of 2023. So we need to, if you got some things to say, please, you have the floor.
Well, I'd love to say it. I'm not going to. Just stay tuned, everyone. It's going to be a phenomenal 2024. All my wishes go out to all the viewers. Enjoy your New Year's. Stay safe. Enjoy college football because I can already tell you that I am super excited to watch college football pretty much almost all day on Monday for New Year's. So the bowl games are going to be phenomenal, and I can't wait to get into 2024. It's hard to believe that the year is pretty much over.
Yeah. Literally, we have a few days left, and I want to give a special shout out to Leon Thomas and Jay Racinko for continuing to be supportive and give their expertise and really coaching me up in this field. And I'm really excited for what is to come in 2024 because we have a lot of ideas. Again, we're not going to say everything now, but with that, have a happy New Year's and see you guys next year. Have a good one.